How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, I can't help but wonder what the hell is that guy doing? That guy, of course, being Donald Trump. Um, you probably saw that little photo op that he did at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania, that little photo op at the football game. You might have even seen that little image that he shared of himself in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. Right, like he would look anything like that image for one or for two. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's just funny. I mean, him doing anything more physical than slapping a golf ball and then getting on the cart to go find it. It's just laughable. Uh, but yeah, he did the photo op at the McDonald's. They closed down that McDonald's so that he could have his little his little staged event. All the people who came up through the drive-through, no, they made it look like they were just random people coming up to the drive-through and he just happened to be there. No, it was all staged. Those people were already Trump supporters. They had already rehearsed just exactly what was going to happen when they got up to the drive-through window and he handed them their bag of food. And as I understand it, they didn't even place an order. It's just kind of whatever was there, he handed to them. So, yeah, that's a little bit weird. And then there was the incident where he's talking about Arnold Palmer's, let's just call it golf club. And then, he's been canceling events right and left. He's been canceling even the friendliest interviews. He actually walked out of an interview with Dan Bongino, and he didn't have to do anything to look good in that interview except be there because, well, Dan Bongino is going to, well, if you know what I mean. He's one of those guys. And he walked out of that interview, and he's been canceling other interviews. He didn't do the 60 Minutes interview, and now he's saying that 60 Minutes needs to be taken off the air. CBS needs to have their license taken away, and that Kamala Harris needs to be investigated because you didn't do an interview that you could have done? Whatever. I mean, he is out there doing literally nothing to try to win over voters. Nothing. Nothing at all. Name one thing that he's doing. I mean, he's not talking about any issues. Okay, he's talking about trans athletes. Now, that's an issue where, you know what, I can see the argument against allowing I can see the argument against allowing trans girls to play against girls. I get it. I understand that. Now, is that the right thing to do? I don't know. I don't know the science behind it. Okay? But I understand the argument. Okay? But for him to say that, the government needs to ban trans athletes, why? Seriously, why? Why does the government have to do anything as it pertains to sports? Anything at all? The government needs to stay the hell out of sports. Right? I'm just stay out. Look, if the NCAA, for example, wants to prohibit trans athletes from competing, That should be up to the NCAA. If, let's just say the WNBA, well, it should be up to the WNBA. It should be up to the governing body of that sport. It should not be up to the governing body of the country, governing body of the sport. Okay? You know, it's not. Plus, I mean, that's an issue that affects what, like 4 people? I mean, it's probably more than that, but I don't know. The best estimate that I've been able to find has been like right around 100 at the most trans athletes in a country of 350 or so million people. So it's effectively a non-existent segment of the population in terms of numbers. You know, I'm not saying that they are non-existent. Clearly, they do exist, and they are important people. But in terms of numbers, they're almost not even there. But yeah, I mean, he wants to talk about trans athletes, which, oh yeah, that's a major issue, isn't it? He wants to talk about, you know, how Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's, which is why he went and, you know, did his little staged event there, right? You know, and he's saying that, well, you know, they have no record of her working there. All right, well, 40 years ago. You go back 40 years, I mean, how many places are going to still have records of people who worked there 40 years ago? You know, and when he says, well, you know, the manager's been there forever and he's never even heard of her. Sure. Do you realize how much turnover there is in fast food? Yeah. There's so much turnover there. You know what you're not talking about, Donnie? How about those fast food workers? A lot of them, they make minimum wage. What is minimum wage? $7.25 an hour. Actually, he was asked about the minimum wage, and all he said is, well, these are great people that work here. Yeah, they are great people. Which and they go in there and do a job that, you know, it's probably not their only job for a lot of them, right? Because they have to make ends meet. And I get it. Minimum skills equal minimum wage. I get that, and I agree with that concept. But minimum wage should not be well below the poverty line. If you're out there busting your ass working, you ought to be earning some money, you know, at least enough to get by on. Name one place in this country where even $10 an hour, you can get, you can have a cheap car with insurance, put gas in that car, have a 1-bedroom apartment, just a simple 1-bedroom apartment, the cheapest one in town, and put food on the table. $10 an hour. Where in the country can you do that? I'll give you a hint. You can't. So, yeah, you're not talking about real issues that affect real people. You're talking about trans athletes, and you're talking about Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's, and then you're closing down a McDonald's to just to draw attention to a lie that you made up. And then you want to talk about, you know, Arnold Palmer, you know. This is why people don't take you seriously, Donnie. What I don't understand, though, is why do the polls show this election being so close? I mean, I know Trump is saying that that, he thinks he can win California and New York and New Jersey and Colorado. He's delusional. He's not going to win any of those states. And he's actually campaigned in all of those states. Why? I don't know. Because he's delusional, actually. I do know. Yeah. You might want to focus on, places where you actually have a shot at winning. I don't think you should have a shot in some of those places, but whatever. Unfortunately, my home state will probably go to Trump. I hope not, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, the guy's lost his mind. He's not talking about anything of any substance. He talks in circles. He does photo ops. He backs out of interviews. He's canceled rallies. He's canceled. All because he's too exhausted. He is exhausted. Okay, well, if you're too exhausted to campaign, you're too exhausted to govern, right? Isn't that what you used to say? Sleepy Joe and all that? So, look, let's take the fact that he is just mentally unfit out of the equation, which he is. He is mentally unfit. If he suffers from exhaustion, that means he's not up to the job. He's just not up to it. Not like he was up to it the first time, but it's worse now. Anyway, hey, yeah, I'm over 50 subscribers. Last I looked, I was at 53. If you could help me get to 75, that'd be great. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment down below. I'll see you next time.